Okay, so good afternoon and good morning, everyone. Thank you all for participating in the Youth Dialogue at the fourth meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Minamata Convention on Mercury, COP4. This is the second segment of that. I'm Richard Lavin, professor at the Prefecture University of Kumamoto, which is near Minamata. And this Youth Dialogue is co-organized by the Ministry of the Environment, Japan, MOEJ, and the Ministry of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia, KLHK. So in January 2021, students from Minamata and from Indonesia presented the importance of mercury management and public awareness activities in front of the Japanese and Indonesian ministers during the Japan-Indonesia Environmental Ministerial Meeting. At that time, the two ministers invited the youth to COP4. And during COP4 Segment 1, the Japanese and Indonesian youth produced a video clip to announce today's event, Youth Dialogue. And today we have high school students from Minamata, Japan, Jakarta, Indonesia, and Idria, Slovenia. So we will have presentations regarding mercury issues from each country, followed by a discussion. So before we start, let us have some opening remarks from Indonesia.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, distinguished participants. On behalf of the Secretary of the Director General of Solid Waste Management, Hazardous Waste and Hazardous Substance Management, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia, let me express my sincere thanks to the Secretariat of COP4 Minamata Convention, who has arranged various side events, and appreciation also goes to the Ministry of Environment of Japan and Slovenia. I'm very pleased today to be able to welcome students from Japan, Slovenia, and Indonesia who participate in this COP 4.2 Youth Dialogue. This is a good start to involve youth to spread the negative impact of mercury. As we know, there will be more attention and effort made in the future to reduce and eliminate the use of mercury in our daily life. If we could raise awareness of the dangers of mercury since young age, I believe to eliminate the use of mercury are expected to be more successful and effective. Hopefully, this positive activity could provide a lot of knowledge and experience to all participants, and I also hope similar activity could be held again on a regular basis in our country. Good luck to all students. Let's make mercury history. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's move on to the presentations. So first, we'd like to have a presentation from the students from Minamata, Japan.
Hello everyone, we are students from Minamata High School in Japan. More than 60 years ago, a tragedy occurred here in Minamata due to mercury pollution, and we have been trying to recover from what we suffered from. As students of Minamata High School, we think it is our duty to let people know what happened in Minamata and to think about what we can do to achieve a sustainable society. First, we will explain some activities which we carry out at school. We have two goals. First, try to solve local issues. Second, have global perspectives. Here are some of the activities we are doing with the cooperation of the National Institute for Minamata Disease. We are doing a research to find the best place to raise oysters in Minamata. We want many people to know that the sea of Minamata is beautiful and rich in nutrients. Next, a group of students in the mechanical course have been making traps to catch harmful animals like like wild boars and deers in the mountain around Minamata. Many local farmers are suffering from the damage caused by these animals, and we are offering cheap and light traps for the local people. Another group of students in the mechanical course created a submarine robot, which won the first prize in a national competition. This research was originally conducted to make a robot which can collect garbage underwater. This robot can collect empty cans in the water. Also, we have interacted with students of Vietnam Japan University and exchanged ideas about some issues we have in common, such as problems in cities or about English education.
Now we will explain the educational program in Minamata. In Kumamoto Prefecture, when students are in 5th grade of elementary school, they visit Minamata City and learn about Minamata disease. In Minamata Junior High School, students are interchanging with junior high school students in Niigata, where similar pollution has occurred and are visiting facilities to learn about the use of mercury. This is the educational program in our school now. Students learn about the background and cause of Minamata disease in detail in the first year. In second year, we think about the problems which present Minamata is facing and consider how we can solve them. We believe that what we do here, we lead to the achievement of SDGs. In the first year, final year, will be made by each student, and we think about what we can do for the future.
As for the three of us, we have been doing a research about the Minamata Convention on Mercury. First, we interviewed Mr. Toda from United Nations Environment Program, who was involved in concluding the convention. We learned about how the use of mercury is around the world now, and some of the mercury problems still remaining. As we talked with each other in our research group, we came to the conclusion that it is necessary for us to tell people outside of Minamata about the present situation of Minamata Sea and how life is in Minamata now. We are making a message video with the cooperation of environmental activists, local fishermen, and city hall workers in Minamata. We thought if people know more about present Minamata, it will lead to the appropriate use of mercury. And also more people will come to know about the Minamata Convention mercury. Especially, we want young people who will lead the next generation to become more interested. We believe that this message will make problem more concerned about Minamata and the Minamata Convention mercury. Minamata City is recovering from the damage of mercury and changed into an eco-friendly city. Also, the sea has become safe and beautiful. We must not forget that the pain of the victims still remains. We hope that this will be a good opportunity to help people know more about Minamata, and we will keep thinking of ways to spread and pass down what we explained here in Minamata. Thank you for listening.
So thank you very much, Kodai, Yasutaka, and Kazutaka, for your presentation. We learned a lot about Minamata from you. So could we move on to the second presentation from the students in Jakarta, Indonesia? Are you ready to go?
Yes, we are ready to go.
Great, well, thank you.
Is it
We can
visible
see
now?
it now, yes.
Hello everyone. This is the presentation from Youth Initiative from Indonesia. First of all, we'll start for the presentation from SMA Alizar High School. To you, Aurel.
Thank you, Bayu. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, my name is Aral, and I'm accompanied by my friend Bayu, and we're from Alizar Pondok Labu. In today's presentation, we'll be discussing about mercury in objects, specifically in electronic devices.
Objects in our daily lives that we can find that contains mercuries are batteries and light bulbs.
So, how does battery mercury get exposed, and who could potentially be affected by it? Mercury exposure doesn't only negatively impact people, but also the environment, including plants and animals. The community. Mercury exposure may not directly impact us, however, it could affect other people around the community, especially ones who live near the landfills, since all sorts of waste are dumped, including ones containing mercury, such as battery, bulbs, and etc. So, what about the environment? Mercury negatively impacts the environment in the form of pollution, either air or water pollution, as batteries get decayed and leak in landfills. Animals. Mercury can negatively affect animals both living in land and water. Why, you may ask? This is because animals could mistakenly leak batteries for food. This may also have a reverse effect as we humans also consume meat.
Well, how about mercury light bulbs? Light bulbs could break due to a lack of insulation at the base of a light bulb. And if this happens, the mercury containing tube could let off toxic mercury smoke, which would later be inhaled.
Moving on, now we'll be discussing about the impacts of mercury vapor inhalation on our health. So, what does it do to our health? Mercury vapor could affect our nervous system, such as making us feel fatigue, tremors, headaches, and etc. It could also affect our digestive system by causing fluid accumulation, mucosal injuries, and diarrhea.
Mercury vapor inhalation can also cause our immune system to drop and can also cause lung and kidney disorder.
Oh, what about mercury salts? Is there any difference? Just like the inhalation of mercury vapor, when exposed to mercury salts, we could experience digestive system disorder. However, we could also experience irritation on the skin and the eyes, and if eaten, it could cause kidney damage.
What exactly is the problem here in Indonesia? Well, mercury education isn't talked about and discussed much in school. It's not included in the school curriculum. This can cause less awareness, and the students doesn't know ways or methods to prevent mercury exposure. They also may still use products containing mercury, which could be harmful to their health. They could also follow false information regarding mercury, and this one may be fatal. Overall, Indonesian citizens aren't accustomed to waste management, separating waste based on its toxicity and materials.
So, what can we do as the young generation or as a student in school? You may think that there isn't much to do, especially during this pandemic times. However, there are several ways we could do to help reduce mercury exposure and the unawareness about the toxicity of mercury. First, we could utilize social media, as many people from different age ranges are now active in social media, making social media the fastest way to spread awareness. Other than social media, we could also work together with the school community, such as working together with the student council.
We can also educate people around us, our friends, our families, and people that lives in the same environment as us. And we can also make recommendations regarding mercury education to add mercury into the school curriculum. And not just that, we can also start from ourselves by disposing of e-waste the correct way. In Indonesia, to dispose of e-waste, first of all, we need to gather all the e-waste and categorize it into 6 categories. After that, we need to register for our e-waste to be picked up by filling up a form. After we fill up the form, our e-waste will be picked up from our home and delivered to the nearest e-waste RJ warehouse, which will then later be processed.
Here's an example of the poster that people could post on their personal account or school account. Well, that's all for me in Bayu's presentation. Now my friends from SMA Tujupolo will continue with their presentation.
Thank you for Bayu and Aurel for the presentation. Now we're going to give a presentation of mercury exposure from beauty products. Now, for the overview, there will be identification, the symptoms and effects of the cases, and lastly, the solution. Now, what's the current situation? Teenagers are now very concerned with the appearance of their face and skin. One of the reasons is because it is influenced by the K-pop or K-drama that shows beautiful males and females with bright skin. Many beauty products, both local and imported, offer an instant result for skin whitening or smoothing. Like for example, ads like getting whiter in 7 days and stuff like that. And lastly, white is gold perception on everybody's mind.
So what the product that might contain high mercury? It is like skin lighters and anti-aging creams and lotions.
Now, how to recognize mercury-based cosmetics? There were four ways. One, you can see the label. If you spot one of these ingredients, then it might contain mercury. And you can see the color. If it shows like the yellow or darker um, color, it means that it might contain mercury. And if you already try it and it has a hypersensitive effect, you need to check your products again. And as I have said before, if there is an instant offer promising result, you should be aware about that. And this is the example of the symptoms that people get from mercury exposure from beauty products. Now, in Indonesia, Agency for Drug and Food Control, or BPOM, holds a campaign to prevent people from using toxic-based cosmetics called CLICK, where it means we need to check the packaging, the label, the distribution permit, and the expiry date.
There have some cases caused by mercury. A woman's career for life by poisonous chemicals in skin lightening creams. Millions of women across the world have been scared because of toxic additives such as mercury. There have one case about a woman who started using a powerful cream that messed up her skin. Thankfully, she recovered. And also in Indonesia, also experienced many similar cases. Mercury can harm others. Mercury can evaporate. Your families might be exposed to mercury in many ways, such as breathing. Some people, especially pregnant women, nursing babies, and young children, are vulnerable to mercury toxicity. What should we do? Spread awareness. As a student, there are many ways for us to raise awareness. For example, raise a problem to school organizations, make it a topic of discussion. Post data about mercury regularly on social media. Try to consult with a chemistry teacher to teach extra knowledge about the danger of mercury. Telling what product should a student use that doesn't have mercury in it. This is our poster about the safe cosmetics.
Now, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is awareness is key. Teenagers are the most active age and they are the ones that use social media frequently. This means teenagers should be the ones that is actively spreading awareness about the danger of mercury that is lurking in daily activities. We as a student have the time to spread awareness on mercury, whether to social media or even just to our friends. Small steps can lead to big changes in the future. And if it's not now, then when will it be? Mercury have already made many victims, and we should be the one to stop it.
That's our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bayu, Ara, Harman, and Kalista. Yeah, for your beautifully designed presentation. And I think there was some quite frightening information there, but also a hopeful message too. So I'd like to move on now to the final presentation. This will be from the students from Idrija, Slovenia. Could you get ready to go?
Yes, we've prepared a video, so who will share it? I mean, maybe one of you can.
Yeah, we will show that.
Okay, thank you.
Mercury was discovered in Idria in 1490, and soon after, miners from all over Europe came to excavate the valuable mercury ore. Anthony's main road was one of the main entrances to more than 700 kilometers of tunnels that were dug out. Come inside with us.
Mercury was extracted in many different ways, but primarily by way of rotary furnaces. The process included the smelting of cinnabar ore at 800 degrees Celsius. The fumes were then cooled down, which resulted in the condensation into liquid mercury.
The process of excavating and smelting affected the miners and smelters in their working places. However, it also took its toll on the living environment in Idria. Mercury was then exported all over the globe, resulting in Idria becoming the second largest mercury mine in the world.
Mercury had been extracted for almost half a millennium. However, due to a fall in prices, lower market demand, and rising ecological awareness, the Idria mine began closing its operations in the 1970s. Prior to the last smelting of the mercury ore in 1995, the miners had excavated approximately 150,000 tons of mercury.
Today, Anthony's main road is operated by the public institute Idria Mercury Heritage Management Center and is open to tourists. Mercury mining still has long-lasting effects on Idria and its border surroundings, but it was most prominent while mining operations were still active. The smelting of mercury in different furnaces was the biggest contributor to the contamination of the air, soil, and water.
In the past, mercury concentration in the air was a lot higher than it is today. Though the present concentration, measured at 20 nanograms of mercury per cubic meter, is still twice as much as the average concentration of mercury in Slovenia. Nevertheless, it presents no real risk to the population.
Soil pollution is a much bigger hazard due to uncontrolled emissions and residues from our landfills. This resulted in mercury concentrations of 150 milligrams of mercury per kilogram of soil in former smelting areas all over Idria. The maximum number recorded a day was 900 milligrams of mercury per kilogram of soil, which is much more than the allowable critical value of 10 milligrams of mercury per kilogram of soil.
This resulted in the contamination of vegetables grown in the tainted soil.
Mercury is known to accumulate more in parsley, cabbage, beans, carrots, and lettuce, although in a less hazardous inorganic form.
Mercury also accumulates in water. The water erosion of outcrops mineralized with mercury and the smelted riverbed residue deposits contribute to higher mercury levels, causing elevated accumulation of mercury in fish and other animals. This presents no real threat to drinking water as the concentration of mercury is negligible.
Mercurialism affected miners and smelters through the centuries, but with the increase of research, health advancements, and tighter regulations in the second half of the 20th century, it poses much less of a risk than it used to.
The heritage of Mercury in Almudena and Idria was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2012. The Idria and Almudena mercury mines are historically connected, so today they tell the story of Mercury. Mercury was the fundamental driver of economic development and an accelerator of mutual cultural influences on a narrower and wider world scale. They represent the heritage of Mercury in a technical, economic, cultural, urban, social, and ecological sense.
Therefore, living in such an environment demands certain knowledge of different aspects related to town's history and Mercury's impacts. For this purpose, there are 3 permanent exhibitions on display in Mercury's melting plant, Idria Municipal Museum, and Antony's Main Road.
The awareness is also spread by flyers occasionally sent to all the addresses in the town, and by different events such as lectures and workshops for primary and secondary schools, university students, experts from various fields of science, as well as for the general audience.
Greetings from Idria!
So, Mantahana and Mane, thank you very much, Anne, for your professionally presented video. And we hope you didn't suffer any injuries in the explosion down the mine.
Yeah, it was quite scary.
So great, we've had some 3 wonderful presentations, and I think everyone's learned a lot. Yeah, you've listened to other students from other countries. First of all, I'd like to ask you, are there any questions that you'd like to ask to other countries? So maybe, shall we start from Idria, from Slovenia? Do you have any questions to the Minamata students or the Indonesian students? And anything is okay. It doesn't have to be about the presentation. You can ask something else about life in those other countries. No, you'd like a bit of time to
Yeah,
think?
we have a question. Do the students from Japan know anyone that suffered from the consequences of the Minamata disease? Like any personal acquaintances they have?
So any students from Japan, do you have anything to answer about that?
身近な家族とかにはなかなかもういないんですけど、近くに水俣病の患者さん方だったりとかが、住んでらっしゃったりする施設があるんですけど、そういうところでお話を伺ったりだとか、資料館って言って、歴史を学べる施設があるので、そういうところで実際に水俣病患者さんの話を聞いたりすることはできます。でも水俣病を発見してからもう時間が経っているので、家族とか親戚にはなかなかもういない感じです。
Yeah, thank you very much. So did that answer your question?
Yeah, so at the where we filmed the widow, there is like the smelting plant, and they have a widow of Minamata disease, and it was quite scary seeing that video, but we couldn't include it because we didn't get the right.
Yeah, so you saw a video in Nigeria about Minamata disease, right? Yeah.
Yes, in the smelting plant.
Yeah, so it's good to know that the situation in Japan is also known in Slovenia. So, students from Indonesia, do you have any questions for either students from Slovenia or from Minamata?
Yes, I will ask the question to the Minamata students. Did the incident of Minamata Mercury disease has its place in the Japanese curriculum or in their history subject? I would like to know that, please. Thank you.
義務教育期間中、だいたい6歳から15歳の子どもたちは学校で、水俣の子どもたちは学校で必ず水俣病のことを勉強して、高校に入っても勉強する人たちはいるので、水俣の水俣の生徒だったら、だいたい9年間から10年間ぐらいは水俣病の勉強を学校ですることになってます。
Thank you very much. So how about students from Minamata? Do you have any questions for students from Slovenia or Indonesia?
インドネシアの生徒さんに質問があるんですけど、私は学校で、ジェンダーと化粧品に関することを調べてて、さっき化粧品について少し話があったので質問したいんですけど、インドネシアでは、どういう化粧品が人気だったりとかしますかっていうのと、男性もメイクをしたりしますか？
As we said in our presentation, like whitening and glowing, that is one of the examples that Indonesian teenagers use. Body lotion, whitening products. Is that enough to answer your question?
Thank you very much. I think Mizuki's question originally, she included a question about cosmetics and whether it's mainly women who use cosmetics or if it's both women and men.
I see. Sorry. I think mostly the gender that is cosmetics currently is women, but it's not only bound to women, as some men are also attracted to using makeup in my school, for example.
Deal, thank you. One thing that interested me about the presentations from Indonesia was that of the cosmetics products, they don't necessarily have the word mercury in the ingredients. So one new thing I learned was calomel, I think you said, yeah? CALOMEL, calomel, as being one ingredient that's actually mercury but doesn't look like it. Yeah, so that was very interesting for me. So I'm wondering, cosmetics products including mercury. So we've heard that they have them in Indonesia. What about Slovenia?
So about mercury in products.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only have them in
Energy saving light bulbs.
a very small amount.
Yeah, a very small amount, 3 to 5 milligrams, I think. But we don't have them in batteries and thermometers and dental fillings. We don't have mercury anymore.
We also need to have special
Collection centers
yeah.
for the products that contain mercury.
Thank you. So you don't have them in cosmetics?
Not anymore. All the products that contain mercury were banned in the last 20 years. So it's not really a problem here anymore.
I see. Well, thank you. So could someone from Minamata tell us about the situation in Japan?
日本の化粧品では、詳しくはわからないんですけど、インドネシアの化粧品と一緒で、美白を目的とする化粧品は少ない量ではありますが、使われていると思います。でも、以前に比べて少なくなってきていると思います。
Hello, this is Suki from Ministry of the Environment. May I jump in?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm reading this Minamata Convention. This is kind of the rule book of the convention. So the mercury containing, like mercury added product, which is like quite few of them are listed in a convention book. And according to the Minamata Convention, the mercury added cosmetic is supposed to be phased out by 2020. So Japan is not producing or exporting any products that contain any cosmetic product that is containing mercury. And all the parties who ratified the Minamata Convention is not supposed to be doing, which I believe they are not doing.
That's good to know. Thank you very much. So any students, would you like to ask any other questions to the students from other countries?
If there isn't, I actually have a question to the students.
Oh, yes, please, go ahead. Please.
So, well, I was supposed to introduce myself later on, but this is Suki from Ministry of the Environment of Japan. And I'm one of the Japanese delegation who's going to COP4, which will be held in Bali, Indonesia, in 2 weeks time. One of the Indonesian presentations said, you don't learn much about the Minamata disease. So I was wondering, the students from Indonesia and Slovenia, what was your motivation to participate in this program and study about the mercury? Thank you.
Who wants to go first?
May we start?
Oh, yes, please, go ahead.
Well, actually, it's a funny thing because our physics teacher chose us, and we are guides in the museum, in the municipal museum. So we were kind of familiar with this thing. And it's also, I think it's practical to know a bit more about it. So yeah.
It's important because we live in such an environment to know such things because it affects us all, especially us who live in Idria.
Thank you. Does that mean that students in other areas of Slovenia probably wouldn't know so much?
No.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. I think it's quite rare for other schools to teach about mercury here. Even here, it isn't like a big thing. It's just occasional events or workshops or something, like once a year or twice, but it isn't like in a curriculum as it is in Japan.
I see.
And also students from some other schools in Slovenia come to look at the museum and the mine, the Antony's Main Road. They have a one-day excursion and they come to see, but they don't study more about it.
I see. Thank you very much. So how about students in Indonesia? For example, Aura, do you have any answer for that?
I'd like to answer again.
Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yeah, we can just hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Our answer will be we want to share the dangers of mercury to our friends because the fact that the awareness in Indonesia is still very low and there is already many victims that is already exposed to mercury that drives us to make to want to help our others that still doesn't understand. Uh, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So, we're your students, and I'm a teacher. So, I'd like to ask you a question. So, have you watched the short video from Kumamoto Prefecture introducing the activities to realize a mercury-free society? They were distributed to you before the event. Have you all watched that? I can see some nods. Yeah. Minamata students, did you watch them? Yeah. And what about the video about the international mercury researchers at the Prefectural University of Kumamoto? Have you seen that too? I can see some confident nods and some blank expressions. So, do you have any comments about those videos or anything that surprised you or struck you or that you want to ask about them?
Will we maybe have some thoughts about it?
So we found the videos very informative and encouraging that people are still actively finding solutions on the negative effects of mercury. And we like that they give out scholarships for international students who want to study about mercury, as in Slovenia, we don't have that. And just some students in our school can do some deeper research on the mercury if they want to. So we found that very nice that they can get scholarships for studying about this topic.
Yeah, thank you very much. Any other comments?
Yeah, if I may add, those who studied in Kumamoto Prefectural University about the mercury management in a PhD program, now I work with them. So after they graduated from the university, like some of them are working for the final, the treatment facility. And I met them when I visited this treatment facility in the North Island in Japan. Or like there was one technician in a national laboratory in Indonesia. And I didn't know, I was casually talking with him when I visited. And then he told me he was the alumni of the university. So I was really glad to know that those people who graduated from the Kumamoto University with this scholarship is now actually really actively involving sound mercury management.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very happy to hear that. Yeah, our governor is very interested in funding that kind of research. So I'd like to ask students, so this topic of disposal did come up in the presentations, but I'd like to just ask someone from each country, like if you have a product that contains mercury, do you know what to do with it? Like, is there a system in your country or city? So, can we start with Indonesia? So, yeah, if you had like I don't know, a thermometer or something, yeah, what would you do if you had a product that you found out contained mercury and you needed to get rid of it?
So far, since we're not that aware with how dangerous mercury products are, so as Indonesian people, we haven't really do anything specific to throw away mercury products. But for some places, there have been mercury disposal places. So there's like a box where you could put your mercury products. But specifically, it's for electronic products only and not like makeup or any products else.
Thank you very much. And so Slovenia, you said earlier that basically you don't really have any mercury products, is that right?
Yeah, we just have the energy saving light bulbs. And we're taught to take them to the collection centers after we use them. Or in case they break, we're supposed to open the windows to let the fumes out of the room. And that's kind of it.
Okay, thank you very much. And so Suki's just told us that from 2020, there aren't supposed to be any mercury products sold in Japan, but I guess there could be old products that you bought a long time ago. Any Minamata students know anything about this? Like, for example, if you found products containing mercury, what would you do? Or what's the situation throughout Japan?
In Minamata, we separate garbage into 21 kinds, and there are category of dangerous stuff. So such as mercury lamp. So we can throw away garbage even if mercury was used. And we have a facility in Hokkaido. There is a facility which collecting mercury. So we sent mercury added product to Hokkaido, and mercury removed to save things there.
I see. Did you say 21, 27 categories?
Yes, we separate garbage into 21 kinds.
So 21, I can't imagine what the 20. So even in Kumamoto City, we have many fewer kinds than that. Okay, so I think it would be fun to do a little quiz. So, yeah, could someone bring up the quiz on the screen? So this is going to test your knowledge. So this one, yeah, we can still see you on the cameras. So it's a true or false quiz. So we'd like you to not to use the reactions in Zoom, but actually on the screen. So if you think yes, let's do a circle. And if you think no, let's do a cross, okay? Yeah, so true or false, yeah. So true is a circle and false is a cross. So can we go on to the first question? Yeah, so question one, Mercury does not exist in nature. It is artificially created by humankind. So true or false? Oh, let's just check. Yay, well done, well done. Yeah, so it's an element like oxygen or iron. So that was a very easy one to start. Should we go on to the second question? Yeah, so mercury has different forms other than metallic mercury. So true or false? So I'm not sure if you were influenced by each other, but let's see. So is it true? Yeah, well done, well done. 100% record so far. Yeah, so in addition to metallic mercury, there are organic and inorganic mercury compounds, and I think that was mentioned in the presentation earlier. So let's try the next one. So mercury is still used in common products today. True or false? Yeah, so maybe this is different compared to depending on the country. Yeah, but let's see. Most people saying false. Yeah, so yeah, mercury is still used in some common products. Yeah, Suki, is that correct?
Yeah, so the parties, so there are list. So the products that is listed in the Minamata Convention, we are not allowed to produce and export. So the things that has been already produced before ratifying the convention, I mean, usage is not restricted. But then there are much more safer alternative is like developed now. So for example, mercury thermometer, we already have this electric thermometer. So I've, for example, never seen anyone using mercury thermometer. So like safer alternatives, the things are replaced to safer alternatives.
Thank you very much. So let's have one more question. Yes, a question 4. The amount of mercury used for products or other objects in Japan today decreased to 1/10 from the largest amount, which is in 1964. So it's quite a long question. So let's think for 5 seconds, then go true or false. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Please answer. True or false? So we've got some true, mostly false. So let's see what the answer is then. Yeah, so false. So yeah, so it's true that it's decreased, but the decrease is much bigger than in the question. Yeah, so about 1/500th of the of that amount from 1964. So let me just get some feedback. So this quiz is from the Ministry of the Environment, Japan, and MOEJ would like to get some feedback about it from young people like yourselves. So yeah, there are more questions to come, but anybody got some feedback on the quiz? Yeah, so. Yeah, was it difficult, easy?
There was a few questions that was hard, but some of them were easy. The first ones.
Yeah, so Bayu said some was easy, some was difficult. Anybody else?
Yeah, and one question, like the one with the products that contain mercury was a bit different for us because we don't have them anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. How about the Minamata students?
えっと、学校の授業とは違って、また違うやり方だったので、とてもクイズ形式は楽しかったなと思いました。
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so different from school, so that's where they can enjoy the quiz. What about this website format? Is that a good way for MOEJ to deliver the quiz?
Yes, I think it's interesting and unique, especially.
Yeah, thank you, Harman. So yeah, it seems that it's a good way to deliver the quiz. Yeah, we're coming to a time when we need to finish off the event soon. So thank you for your presentations and fruitful discussion. And we'd like to get some comments from each country first. So I think from Minamata, I think Yasutaka has some final comments to make.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for listening us during today's meeting. We enjoyed it very much. As we said in our presentation, and I think it is important for us, the young generation, to know more about the mercury problem and to spread it to the world and to the next generation. I hope more people will visit Minamata in the future because it is a place which we can be proud of. I think again, and I hope we can meet each other in person someday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So how about from Jakarta? Could somebody make some final comments?
Yes, it was really interesting and new for me, and they have a lot of things that I didn't know it, so I can learn a lot. It was really good.
Yeah, thank you, Kalista. And how about from Idria?
Well, I think we found it interesting seeing the different perspectives from different countries about mercury use, and we found it encouraging. It's still being talked about because it's a real problem and a real strain on the environment. So we like that.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Suki, would it be possible to get some final remarks from you, representing
Yes,
the
sure.
ministry? Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, so again, this is Suki from Ministry of the Environment, Japan. We would like to, so on behalf of Japanese government, we would like to thank Indonesian government for co-organizing this youth dialogue, as well as SMA 70 Jakarta High School and SMA Al Izhar Jakarta High School from Indonesia, and Juriji Vega Grammar School Idoria from Slovenia, and Kumamoto Prefecture Minamata High School from Japan. Also, our appreciation extends to the cooperation of Kumamoto Prefecture Government Office for sharing their activities to realize mercury-free society, and young international researchers from Prefecture University of Kumamoto for sharing the research topics and encouraging the messages. I was so excited about participating in today's event and see next generation's action to tackle the issue. And as you saw, I'm a mother of 10 years old, and she was actually listening to the discussion. And your effort and challenges will create a better future for even younger generation. So thank you very much for all for the participating and sharing your learnings and ideas. And perhaps you have learned today that there are 3 types of mercury, and each type has different toxicity and effort to human body and the environment. And we always have to understand that the appropriate handling and also the correct information according on different mercury types. And we would like you all, and also the viewer of this youth dialogue, because this will be presented at the COP website. So we would like the viewer of this youth dialogue to keep learning and caring about the mercury issues around yourselves. And please take an action, however small, and it will become a big change when youth join together around the world. Today, Minamata has beautiful sea and such amazing, delicious food, and it has taken a long time and enormous efforts to come true. So the story of Minamata never become a history, as we face the responsibility to maintain this beautiful environment now. And I hope you all can visit there in the near future, feel the air and learn from the past. The museums are amazing, and the people's hospitality, weather, everything's really great in the area. So finally, let me congratulate you all for the successfully completing the youth dialogue. This will be the first experience of the Minamata Convention, and we Japanese government would like to carry on this effort in the future as well. So thank you very much and wishing you a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your warm remarks. So, 3, 2, 1. Make Mercury history.
History.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone, for your participation today.
Thank you very
So
much.
this is the end of the Youth Dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.